Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well today. In this video, I'm going to be covering some practice problems on solving multi-step equations. In part 1, I'm going to go over some practice problems where we solve multi-step equations with combining like terms. In part 2, we'll practice doing some problems that have the distributive property. And finally in part 3, we'll go over solving some multi-step equations involving reciprocals. You can either pause the video before I go over each question to try it on your own, or you can just play the video through and try them with me. Either way, I encourage you to grab some paper and something to write with, and let's do some math together. Here in part 1, let's practice solving some multi-step equations where we have to combine like terms. In example A, we have x plus 2x minus 3 is equal to 6. The like terms here are going to be this x and 2x. Don't forget that this x has a coefficient of 1. Combining 1x and 2x to get 3x, we can write 3x minus 3 is equal to 6. Next, we're going to use the addition property of equality and add 3 to both sides. When combining these opposites, we get 0, so they get cancelled out. And since 6 plus 3 is equal to 9, we can write 3x is equal to 9. Since we're solving for x, we're going to use the division property of equality and divide both sides by 3. When doing that, these 3's are going to cancel out to make 1 and 1. So on the left side, we just have 1x, which is just x, and on the right side, 9 divided by 3 is equal to 3. The value of x that makes this equation true is 3. Remember that it's always a good idea to substitute your solution into the original equation to make sure that it works. While I'm not going to show that in this video, feel free to do it on your own to check to see if you're on the right track. In B, we have 12r plus 14 plus 10r is equal to 80. Let's start by combining like terms. Combining this 12r and 10r together, we can write 22r plus 14 is equal to 80. Using the subtraction property of equality, we can subtract 14 from both sides of this equation. These two are opposite, so they cancel each other out to make 0. And since 80 minus 14 is equal to 66, we can write 22r is equal to 66. To solve for 1r, we can use the division property of equality and divide both sides by 22. These 22's are going to cancel out to make 1. And since 66 divided by 22 is equal to 3, we can say 1r, or just r, is equal to 3. This is the solution to this equation. Here in example C, we have 11c minus 9 minus 7c is equal to 15. Combining these like terms of 11c and minus 7c, we're going to get 4c. So we're going to write 4c minus 9 is equal to 15. Using the addition property of equality, we're going to add 9 to both sides. These two are opposite, so they cancel out to make 0. And since 15 plus 9 is equal to 24, we can write 4c is equal to 24. Using the division property of equality, we can divide both sides by 4. This way these 4's cancel out to make 1, and 24 divided by 4 is equal to 6, so we can say that c is equal to 6. And this is the answer to this equation. Now let's look at D. We have 9 is equal to 7e minus 13e minus 21. Try not to let it bother you too much that the variables are on the right side now. I promise you we're just going to solve it the same way. If it's really bothering you, feel free to switch the left and the right side and then just solve it that way. Combining these like terms of positive 7e and negative 13e, we're going to get negative 6e. After simplifying this, we're going to get 9 is equal to negative 6e minus 21. Next, we're going to use the addition property of equality and add 21 to both sides. These two are opposite, so they cancel out to make 0. And since 9 plus 21 is equal to 30, we can say 30 is equal to negative 6e. To solve for 1e, we're going to have to use the division property of equality and divide both sides by negative 6. This negative 6 divided by negative 6 is just 1, and 30 divided by negative 6 is equal to negative 5, so we can say that e is equal to negative 5. There's our answer. Now let's look at E. We have 23 is equal to negative 4w plus 2 plus w. Let's start by combining these like terms of negative 4w and 1w. By adding their coefficients of negative 4 and positive 1, we're going to get negative 3w. After combining like terms, we have 23 is equal to negative 3w plus 2. Using the subtraction property of equality, we can subtract 2 from both sides. These are opposites, so they cancel out to make 0. On the left side, 23 minus 2 is 21, so we have 21 is equal to negative 3w. To get 1w, we're going to divide both sides by negative 3. These are going to cancel out to make 1. And on the left side, 21 divided by negative 3 is negative 7, so we can say w is equal to negative 7. There's our answer. And for our final one here, we have negative 2 is equal to 3y minus 18 minus 5y. Combining these like terms of 3y and negative 5y, we're going to get negative 2y. After combining, we can write negative 2 is equal to negative 2y minus 18. Next, we're going to add 18 to both sides. These two are going to cancel out to make 0. And on the left side, since negative 2 plus 18 is equal to 16, we can write 16 is equal to negative 2y. Next, we're going to divide both sides by negative 2. These negative 2's are going to cancel out to make 1. And 16 divided by negative 2 is equal to negative 8, so we can say 1y, or just y, is equal to negative 8. There's our solution. And there you have 6 practice problems where we solved equations where we had to combine like terms. Here in part 2, let's practice solving some multi-step equations where we have to use the distributive property. In this first one, we have 3 plus 4 times the quantity of x plus 5 is equal to 31. When we have these types of equations, we're going to start by distributing. We're going to multiply this 4 times this x and this 4 times this 5. 4 times this 1x is equal to 4x, and 4 times 5 is equal to 20. Rewriting this, we can write 3 plus 4x plus 20 is equal to 31. Now let's look to combine like terms. This 3 and 20 are both constant terms and can be combined to make positive 23. Rewriting this, we have 4x plus 23 is equal to 31. Next, we're going to subtract 23 from both sides. That way these cancel out to make 0. And on the right side, we have 31 minus 23, which is equal to 8, so we have 4x is equal to 8. Then we're going to divide by 4 on both sides. These 4's cancel out to make 1. And 8 divided by 4 is equal to 2, so we can write x is equal to 2. There's our solution. In B, we have 5f plus 2 times the quantity of f plus 1 is equal to 23. Let's start by distributing the 2 to the 1f and the 1. Multiplying 2 times 1f, that's going to be 2f, and multiplying 2 times 1, that's going to equal 2. Rewriting this, we have 5f plus 2f plus 2 is equal to 23. Combining these like terms of 5f and 2f to get 7f, we can write 7f plus 2 is equal to 23. Next, we're going to subtract 2 from both sides. These are opposite, so they cancel each other out. And on the right side, 23 minus 2 is 21, so we can write 7f is equal to 21. Finally, we're going to divide both sides by 7, so that these 7's cancel out to make 1. On the right side, 21 divided by 7 is equal to 3, so we can say that f is equal to 3. There's our solution. Next, in example C, we have 27 is equal to 3c minus 3 times the quantity of 6 minus 2c. Try to be careful with this minus 3 that's in front of the parentheses. You really have two options here. You can distribute the positive 3, but make sure you subtract everything afterwards. Or you can remember that this minus 3 is the same thing as adding a negative 3, and that we're really going to distribute a negative 3. For me, I'm going to think about it the second way and distribute this minus 3 as a negative 3 to both of these terms on the inside. Negative 3 times 6 is equal to negative 18, and negative 3 multiplied by the negative 2c is equal to positive 6c. Rewriting this, we have 27 is equal to 3c minus 18 plus 6c. This 3c and 6c are like terms, so we can combine them to make 9c, and write 27 is equal to 9c minus 18. Next, we're going to add 18 to both sides. These will cancel out to make 0. And on the left side, 27 plus 18 is equal to 45, so we can write 45 is equal to 9c. Dividing both sides by 9, this 9 over 9 is going to become 1. And 45 divided by 9 is equal to 5, so we can say that 1c, or just c, is equal to 5. This will be our solution. In D, we have negative 3 is equal to 12y minus 5 times the quantity of 2y minus 7. Just like the last example, I'm going to think about this minus 5 as a negative 5. First, we're going to distribute the negative 5 to this 2y, then distribute this negative 5 to this negative 7. Negative 5 times 2y is going to be negative 10y, and negative 5 multiplied by negative 7 is going to equal positive 35. After distributing, we're going to write negative 3 is equal to 12y minus 10y plus 35. Combining this positive 12y and negative 10y to make positive 2y, we can write negative 3 is equal to 2y plus 35. Next, we're going to subtract 35 from both sides. Combining these, we're going to get 0. And on the left side, negative 3 minus 35 is equal to negative 38, so we have negative 38 is equal to positive 2y. Finally, we're going to divide both sides by 2. These 2's are going to become 1, and negative 38 divided by 2 is negative 19, so we can write that y is equal to negative 19. This will be our answer. For E, we have negative 11.2 plus 4 times the quantity of 2.1 plus C is equal to negative 0.8. Let's start by distributing this positive 4 to this 2.1, and then this positive 4 to this positive 1C. 4 times 2.1 is equal to 8.4, and 4 times 1C is equal to 4C. Rewriting this, we have negative 11.2 plus 8.4 plus 4C is equal to negative 0.8. Combining these constant terms of negative 11.2 and positive 8.4, we're going to get negative 2.8. After combining them, we have negative 2.8 plus 4C is equal to negative 0.8. Next, we're going to add 2.8 to both sides. On the left side, these are going to cancel out to make 0. And on the right side, negative 0.8 plus 2.8 is going to equal 2. That means we'll have 4C is equal to 2. Finally, we're going to divide both sides by 4. These 4's on the left side will become 1. And 2 divided by 4 is just 1/2, or 0.5, so we can write C is equal to 0.5. There's our answer. And finally, here's F. We have 0.5 is equal to 4.1e minus 2 times the quantity of 1.3e minus 4. Once again, be careful of this minus 2 that's right in front of the parentheses. Just like earlier, I'm going to use it like a negative 2 and distribute it to both of these terms inside. Negative 2 times positive 1.3e is going to equal negative 2.6e, and negative 2 multiplied by minus 4 or negative 4 is going to equal positive 8. Rewriting this, we're going to have 0.5 is equal to 4.1e minus 2.6e plus 8. Combining 4.1e and negative 2.6e, we're going to get 1.5e. So I'm going to write 0.5 is equal to 1.5e plus 8. Next, I'm going to subtract 8 wholes from both sides. On the right side, these are going to cancel out, and on the left side, subtracting 8 wholes from 1/2 is going to equal negative 7.5. So here I'm going to write negative 7.5 is equal to positive 1.5e. And finally, I'm going to divide both sides by 1.5. These 1.5s are going to cancel out to make 1. And on the left side, negative 7.5 divided by positive 1.5 is going to equal negative 5. Finally, we're going to write that E is equal to negative 5. There's our solution. And there you have 6 practice problems where we solved equations where we had to use the distributive property. And here's part 3, where we're going to solve some multi-step equations using reciprocals. In A, we have 1/4 times the quantity of x plus 3 is equal to 5. Well, we could start off by distributing this 1/4 to the x and 3 inside the parentheses. We're going to end up with a fractional coefficient and a fractional term. Then throughout the rest of the problem, we're going to have to add and subtract fractions and then multiply and divide fractions. The strategy I'm going to use to show you how to solve these equations is by using reciprocals. Instead of distributing the 1/4, we're going to multiply both sides by the reciprocal of it, which is just 4 over 1. Since 4 over 1 is just equal to 4, on the right side we're going to write times 4. Essentially, we're just multiplying both sides of the equation by 4. The reason why we're doing this is because these 4's will cross cancel to make 1's, and we don't have anything to distribute anymore. On the left side, we're just going to have x plus 3. On the right side, 5 times 4 is equal to 20. And here you can see that since we multiplied both sides by the reciprocal of 1/4, we don't have to distribute anymore. Now we just have a one-step equation, and we can subtract 3 from both sides. These opposites will cancel out to make 0, and 20 minus 3 is equal to 17, so we can write x is equal to 17. There's our solution. In B, we have 3/2 times the quantity of x minus 4 is equal to negative 6. The reciprocal of 3 over 2 is going to be 2 over 3, so we're going to multiply both sides by 2/3. On the left side, whenever we multiply something by its reciprocal, they cancel out to make 1. Since we don't need to distribute the 1, we can just get x minus 4 on the left side. On the right side, we're going to have to multiply this negative 6 times 2/3. Remember that negative 6 as a fraction is just negative 6 over 1, so we're going to multiply that by 2/3. This 3 and negative 6 can cross cancel to make negative 2 and 1, so when multiplying, we're going to get negative 4 over 1, or just negative 4. So now we know that negative 6 multiplied by 2/3 is equal to negative 4. Now that we just have a one-step equation, we're going to add 4 to both sides. These are opposites and are going to make 0, and these are also opposites, so they're going to make 0 as well. Our solution here is x is equal to 0. In C, we have 4/3 times the quantity of 7 minus f is equal to 12. Instead of distributing the 4/3, let's multiply both sides by its reciprocal, multiplying 3/4 on the left and multiplying 3/4 on the right. This 3/4 and 4/3 are going to cross cancel to make 1. And on the left side, we're just left with 7 minus f. For the right side, we need to multiply 12 times 3/4, so 12 is going to be 12 over 1, and 3/4 is 3 over 4. This 4 and 12 can cross cancel to make 3 and 1. 3 times 3 is equal to 9, and 1 times 1 is equal to 1. This is just 9. So it turns out 12 times 3/4 is just equal to 9. Next, we're going to subtract 7 from both sides. These 7s are going to cancel out to make 0. And on the right side, we have 9 minus 7, which is equal to 2, so we have negative f is equal to 2. Since we have a negative 1 as a coefficient in front of f, we're going to divide both sides by negative 1, and we have f is equal to negative 2. There's our answer. In D, we have 4 is equal to 2/9 times the quantity of 4m minus 2. To avoid distributing this 2/9, we're going to multiply both sides by its reciprocal, which is going to be 9/2. Multiplying this 2/9 by 9/2 or its reciprocal, we're just going to get 1. And so the right side of this equation just simplifies to 4m minus 2. On the left side, we still have to multiply this 9/2 times 4, which is just 4 over 1. This 2 and 4 can cross cancel to make 1 and 2. And 9 times 2 is equal to 18, and 1 times 1 is 1, so this is just equal to 18. Now that we know that 9/2 multiplied by 4 is equal to 18, let's write that on the left side of the equation. Next, we're going to add 2 to both sides of the equation. These are going to cancel out. And on the left side, 18 plus 2 is equal to 20, so we can write 20 is equal to 4m. Finally, we're going to divide both sides by 4. And 4m over 4 is just going to be 1m, or just m. And since 20 divided by 4 is equal to 5, we can say that m is equal to 5. There's our solution. In E, we have negative 32 is equal to 8/7 times the quantity of 3e minus 1. Distributing 8/7 would be really messy, so we're going to multiply both sides by its reciprocal of 7/8. On the right side, the 7/8 and 8/7 are going to cancel out to make 1, so we can simplify the right side to just 3e minus 1. On the left side, when multiplying 7/8 by negative 32, we can multiply 7/8 by negative 32 over 1. This 8 and negative 32 can cross cancel to make 1 and negative 4. So 7 times negative 4 is negative 28, and 1 times 1 is 1. This just equals negative 28. Now that we know 7/8 multiplied by negative 32 is negative 28, we can write that as our left side of the equation. Next, we're going to add 1 to both sides of the equation. These are going to cancel out. And on the left side, negative 28 plus 1 is negative 27, so we can write negative 27 is equal to 3e. Finally, we're going to divide both sides by 3 here, and these 3's are going to just make 1e, or just e, and negative 27 divided by 3 is going to equal negative 9. Here we can write e is equal to negative 9. There's our solution. And finally in F, we have negative 14 is equal to 2/5 times the quantity of 9 minus 2a. Instead of distributing, let's start by multiplying both sides by the reciprocal of 2/5, which is going to be 5/2. On the right side, these reciprocals are going to cancel each other out to make 1. And since distributing a 1 doesn't do anything, the right side is just 9 minus 2a. On the left side, we have to multiply 5/2 by negative 14, which is just negative 14 over 1. 2 and negative 14 can cross cancel to make 1 and negative 7. And 5 times negative 7 is negative 35, and 1 times 1 is 1, so this just equals negative 35. Since 5/2 times negative 14 is negative 35, let's write that on the left side of the equation. Now that we don't have to deal with any fractions, let's subtract 9 from both sides. This 9 minus 9 cancels out, and on the left side, negative 35 minus 9 is equal to negative 44, so we'll write negative 44 is equal to negative 2a. And finally, we're going to divide both sides by negative 2. These negative 2's will divide to make 1a, or just a, and on the left side, negative 44 divided by negative 2 is equal to positive 22, so we're going to write a is equal to 22. And there's our solution. And there you have 6 practice problems where we solved equations by using reciprocals. And that wraps up this video on solving 18 different multi-step equations. If you found this video helpful, please let me know in the comment section below, or even consider liking the video. Thanks for sticking around to the end, and keep up the great work.